A weird creature is witnessing two injured bodies in front of it. One of them is the main protagonist of our story, Ash Blake. The creature looks at Ash and describes how he risked his life to fulfill a girl's wish. The creature turns into a human and gives Ash a second chance. Ash's hand heals and has a weird mark. Ash is lying on a bed and is unable to move his body. A girl named Navi is there with him, and she tells Ash that she needs to check his body before taking birth in the real world. He wakes up panicking, and we see the same mark with bandages on his hand. The scene shifts to a school where students are excited about the Ares Dragonar Festival, which is right around the corner. As Ash walks by, the students give him special attention and label him as the school's #1 problem child. Everyone in the school has their pal, but Ash doesn't have one. He is supposed to have a pal like everyone else, but it hasn't taken birth yet. Students backbite about Ash, and Ash overhears them. He gets mad and tries to injure them but is stopped by his friend, Raymond. Raymond tells Ash to work on his anger issues, and Ash calms down. The scene shifts to the classroom, and the teacher is teaching about some skills required to control one's dragons. The pals that students refer to are dragons, and every student has one of them. Each one of them has different characteristics and can only be controlled by their masters. Ash is sad because he doesn't have his own dragon like everyone else, and Raymond tries to cheer him up. Ash didn't have his own dragon, but he had an exceptional skill to ride other people's dragons, which would normally be life-threatening for normal students. Sylvia Latremont, a student from a royal family, enters the classroom. She is very arrogant and rude to others. Raymond sees a poster on the wall and asks Ash if he will participate in the upcoming race, where Ash tells him that he doesn't have a pal yet. Raymond is very generous and is ready to give his pal to Ash for the race. We see everyone gathering around Rebecca, the student president. Raymond also seems to have a crush on her as he talks good things about her. The scene shifts to the training ground where everyone is riding on their dragons. Ace doesn't have his own dragon, so he is borrowing Bridget, Raymond's dragon, for the Dragonar battle. The tutor explains the rules: contestants aren't allowed to touch other people's dragons no matter what. But as the battle begins, Sylvia's dragon hits Ash's back, and an accident happens. Luckily, everyone is fine, but the tutor scolds Ash for making a blunder, and Ash apologizes. Ash wasn't at fault, and there was nothing that could have been done by him in that situation, but Ash still feels guilty and apologizes. Sylvia was mad at him, and Ash apologizes to her as well. Sylvia walks forward and slaps Ash, and Ash takes it quietly. Sylvia tells Ash that it was very irresponsible for him to ride other people's dragons, and Ash quietly listens to her. Sylvia makes fun of Ash and tells him that his pal might have been killed hundreds of years ago, and Ash gets mad at her. He doesn't want to fight, so he asks Sylvia to take back what she said, but Sylvia doesn't. Sylvia tells Ash that she will take back what she said and apologize to him if he manages to beat her in the upcoming Dragonar Festival, and Ash accepts the challenge. We see Navi beside Ash again. She comes every night to touch him when he is unable to move, and Ash doesn't like it. Navi tells Ash that what she is doing is necessary. She is about to be born soon, and before she can entrust herself to Ash, she needs to check on his body. Navi also tells Ash that this is the last night they will be spending together and leans down to measure the most sensitive part of his body with her mouth. Ash wakes up the next day and gets ready for the Dragonar Festival. The school president announces that the winner will be able to take her on a date for one day. Everyone gets motivated and excited after hearing this. The class president also calls out Sylvia and tells her to give a speech, but she says a creepy quote and leaves the stage, making everyone mad at her. The race begins, and we see Sylvia struggling to move ahead as some girls were blocking her way inside a cave. Ash reaches that point and strikes one of the girls' dragons with his own and apologizes. Their dragon falls to the ground, making a clear way for Sylvia. Ash and Bridget decide to rest at a point, and Ash hears a weird noise. He asks Bridget to stay put until he comes back and goes into the forest. He encounters a guy and a girl who randomly attack him. The girl gets a hold of Ash and was about to kill him, but she backs off, surprising Ash. The point on the cliff breaks apart, and she was about to fall down, but Ash switches places with her, saving her life and risking his own. Ash wonders if he would die, and something magical happens. Ash sees an egg-like structure in front of him, and when he breaks it, a little girl comes out of it, and Ash wonders if this is his pal. The small girl wakes up, and Ash was staring at her, so she punches him. Ash tells the girl that she belongs to him, and he is her master, but the little girl denies it. She tells Ash that she is the master here. She is really violent and rude. Between the Zephyros Kingdom to the north and the Chevron Kingdom in the south lies La Tremont Night Country. This country is also known as the Dragon Rearing Land. It is a small nation with a population of just 5 million and holds one of the most unique academies, Ansalivan Dragonar Academy. It trains the students and teaches them how they can control their dragons. The little girl and Ash go to Ash's room, and she asks Ash to sleep on the floor while she sleeps in Ash's bed. In the midnight, the little girl climbs on Ash's body and starts to bite him. This isn't seductive, though, because the little girl is a dragon, and what she is doing right now is called baby dragons play biting. Ash gets ready in the morning, and President Rebecca visits Ash in his room. She wasn't there to visit Ash, she wanted to look at his unique pal who took birth in human form. The little girl wakes up naked, and this was inappropriate, so the guy in glasses asks Ash why she wasn't wearing clothes, where the girl tells them that she is a proud dragon and she doesn't need any clothes. Rebecca predicted this would happen, so she brought some clothes for her that she might like. Before leaving, Rebecca tells Ash that she asked Dr. Cornwell to look into her and determine the best way to deal with her. Ash and his pal visit the town, and she was pretty excited. She wanted to try out the anther crepes, so Ash gets her one of those. She tastes it and really likes it, declaring that these anther crepes will be her staple food. The girl suddenly feels sick and leans down to the bench. She gets really close to Ash and asks him to do something about it. Everyone was watching, and it was really inappropriate to do such things in public. Sylvia arrives there and scolds Ash for having no manners. Sylvia's assistant gives medicine to the girl, and Sylvia tells Ash that feeding crepes containing anther is like poison to them. Ash never had a pal, so he never knew about these small details. Sylvia's assistant tells Ash that Sylvia was looking for him, and Ash gets surprised. Sylvia apologizes for what she said earlier and leaves. We see a person spying on Ash and the girl from afar. Ash continues to browse the town with the little girl, and she is really happy. She doesn't have a name yet, so Ash decides to name her Eiko. He picked out this name for a while now and was eagerly waiting to meet his pal and name it. The girl creates a bond between herself and Ash by linking their astral flow and goes to the washroom. We see some weird lady standing right behind her. The scene shifts to Sylvia and her assistant, who witness Ash trying to peek in the women's bathroom. They try to scold Ash, but Ash explains how Eiko went to the room and never came back. The girls decide to check on it and come back with Fafnirite dust. Sylvia thinks that the kidnapper used this to abduct Eiko. Ash is worried about her and decides to look for her but doesn't know where she is. Sylvia asks if they have linked their astral flow, where Ash replies with a yes. Sylvia tells Ash that he can spot her using that bond, and Ash focuses all of his energy on his arm, and some butterfly-like creatures appear. Sylvia tells Ash that these weird creatures will lead him to Eiko. They were only visible to Ash and Sylvia. Ash follows it, and Sylvia and her assistant follow Ash. Ash, Sylvia, and her assistant reach a house, and it was locked. Ash manages to push open a door, and the scene shifts to the lady. She was about to run an experiment on Eiko and make her a test subject. Eiko was a dragon in human form, so she was quite rare. The lady asks Eiko if she can read Dragworth, the memories of dragons passed down from generations to generations. Eiko tells the lady that she tried to access it before but was denied. The lady has no choice but to dissect Eiko's body and take a look at that valuable info. Ash and Sylvia manage to break in, and they see Eiko tied up. She was scared and was waiting to be rescued. The lady reveals her identity. She is Dr. Cornwell, and she was the one Rebecca talked about earlier.
Even though it was a special request, she cannot abduct someone's pal out of the blue and run an experiment on their body. Cornwell uses some kind of trick and knocks down Sylvia and Ash. Eiko scolds Ash and asks him to save her. A magical reaction happens in Ash's body, and he unleashes an overwhelming attack, defeating Cornwell and rescuing Eiko. We see Ash and Raymond moving towards the classroom only to find Cornwell there as their homeroom teacher. We see Ash and Rebecca sitting right beside each other. Ash is awkward, but Rebecca approaches him and tells him that she wants him. Well, she wanted him to be a member of the student council, which is the reason why she summoned him there. We see Sylvia, who is trying to become the best. She wonders how Ash is able to ride other people's dragons and is quite frustrated by the fact that she cannot do it. A dragon is loose and is about to bring harm to a town nearby, so Sylvia moves there. Ash asks Rebecca why she was inviting him to the student council, where Rebecca reminds Ash about the attackers he met in the forest. They must be spies of the Zephyros Empire. The war ended 52 years ago, but everything wasn't settled. The Empire views their academy as a military school and considers it a threat, so they can get attacked at any time. Rebecca just wants Ash to help her deal with them. Rebecca and Ash notice the dragon going on a rampage, and Sylvia was trying to stop it. Ash wonders why Sylvia would do something like that and risk her life. Rebecca tells Ash that Sylvia views him as her rival and she is trying to outdo him by controlling other people's dragons. Rebecca manages to stop the dragon, but Sylvia was frustrated. Ash is also surprised to know that Sylvia views him as her rival. We see Ash and Eiko talking to each other in the park. Ash asks Eiko to make an arch for him as it is every dragon's job to present an arch for their masters, but Eiko denies and hits him. We see the girl Ash met in the jungle. She was hiding in the town and was surprised to see Ash alive. Rebecca arrives there and meets Ash and Eiko. She takes them to the Dragon Fong Inn to treat them. Sylvia was also there. This was actually a date that Sylvia won with Rebecca by defeating everyone in the festival. We see the same boy and the girl in one of the tallest buildings in the town. The boy uses a weapon and casts a magic spell that summons a weird monster in the middle of the town. Eiko notices this and gets to the middle of the town. Rebecca and the two others follow Eiko and see a monster in front of them. This monster had rotten flesh and was destroying the city. Eiko liked this town very much, so she confronts the monster and asks it to back off, but it doesn't and gets a hold of Eiko. Rebecca gets ready for an attack. She fires an attack, and it hardly pierces through the monster's tough shield. The monster loses its head, but it respawns back again, surprising Ash and Rebecca. Rebecca tells Ash to take Princess Sylvia away from the danger, and Ash follows her command. She asks Sylvia to wake up, but she's blacked out. She isn't speaking anything, and Ash slaps her to wake her up. He asks Sylvia to summon her dragon. Ash wants to try to ride the monster and see if he can control it, and Sylvia agrees to help him. Meanwhile, Eiko was getting stripped by the strings in the monster's body, and she wakes up in a closed room where she meets Navi. Navi tells her that she will guide her. Ash is able to ride other dragons, but this dragon is special. He is an ancient dragon and was brought to life by artificial means. Navi tells Eiko that she needs to give Ash an arch, or Ash would die. Meanwhile, Ash was fighting hard just to save Eiko, and Eiko gets emotional. Eiko tries her best and gives some power to Ash. Ash gets an armor and feels unstoppable. He is able to take control of that monster dragon and ride it. The guy and the girl who committed the attack decide to retreat for now. The dragon makes a request to Ash, and Ash takes his life. Eiko pops out of the dragon, and Ash saves her. We see everyone partying, and Rebecca asks Ash and Sylvia to join the student council. They both agree to join, and Rebecca gives them a kiss as a welcome gift.